Test 1 2, test 1 2. We will be starting our show momentarily. Thank you very much for joining me. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. I will be with you guys in just 2 seconds. We will start momentarily right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. We will start in just a few minutes. Thank you very much for being patient. You guys ready? Off to a good start on Tuesday? Me too. All right, let's do this. One more minute. One more minute and we'll get started right here. Let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? I appreciate you guys joining Kyle Anderson Bama Football on YouTube. I hope you guys are off to a fantastic start on this Tuesday, June 18th. Let me know you're watching from inside the comment box. Kyle Anderson Bama Football on YouTube. I'm excited to be here today, and I'm going to talk recruiting during the morning, and then, of course, we are on Jackson Lloyd watch. A couple notes that I want to go through in terms of the prospects that are coming in that are going to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend, prospects that are in today, probably a commitment today, a lot of things to keep track of. But I wanted to start out with, I saw this on social media when I was starting. I'm going to do this to warm up the show. What's up, David? I appreciate you inside the comment box. Todd Tipton, what's up, man? Saying happy Jackson Lloyd Day. Yeah, I think that's coming here at 2 p.m. Central Time. 2 p.m. Central Time. So SEC Mike, who has a good social media platform, has a podcast, all that stuff, recently had some rankings and it got everybody talking. And he released his rankings and they went like this: Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, Missouri, and then Bama, Tennessee, and LSU. And I was thinking about this, and of course, like, content creators have to do things to get clicks and to get buzz and for people to start talking. But I was curious to see, like, Missouri ranked over Alabama. I mean, I guess there's a lot of people that have already said Georgia, maybe Texas, Ole Miss ahead of Alabama, but I have a really hard time believing that Missouri ahead of Alabama. The champ, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for being a member of Bama Football on YouTube. I think when I look at the SEC going into this coming season, it's going to be a gauntlet for any type of team, right? Right, Todd? Todd is saying clown. And I think the early season tests will provide these teams to get better for the back end of the season. And Missouri will have their time as they're coming into Bryant-Denny Stadium to play against Coach Jaylen DeBoer in this new revamped Alabama team that I think is going to be much better than teams anticipate. So I think if I had to rank the SEC right now, I would probably go Georgia, Texas, Bama, and Ole Miss, or Georgia, Bama, Texas, Ole Miss. I kind of have a hard time kind of flip-flopping between Texas and Ole Miss. I think each of those four teams is going to be quality. I think the thing that you have to look at with Ole Miss and Texas clearly is the two up-and-coming coaches as they continue to work on their career, right? Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, like, those guys are going to win games. And I think Ole Miss, their front-end schedule is favorable enough to where they could really make a run at the SEC championship. Because remember, it's only 1 versus 2. What's going, C-Dub? I appreciate you. Rodney coming in to us for Berdito Key. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Coffee is hot. 30 people watching. Let's get 30 thumbs up. Just pause, hit the thumbs up. If you roll Tide, hit the thumbs up. How would you, let me ask you, Undefeated, how would you have the SEC rankings right now? Honestly, like, just shoot from the hip. How would you have 1, 2, 3, 4? All right. Lewis, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Yeah, we're going to talk about Dijon Lee in just a second. And you're also on commitment watch for Jackson Lloyd, who will be announcing today at 2 p.m. Central Time. And then I saw this. Now, I thought this was really interesting. And most of my show today, most of this segment in the morning will be geared to recruiting. But I wanted to warm up the show with a couple topics. Greg McElroy, right, who has his own podcast, he was talking, he made my ears perk up. He was talking about the fact that could Coach Jaylen DeBoer have the best opening season ever as a head football coach. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, yeah, like he's going to win games. But then he started posting the records of past coaches in their first years coaching Alabama. So check this out. Greg McElroy put this together. This is on social media. Of course, anybody could go look up the records, but this was an interesting topic. All right, so Coach Saban, anybody know what Coach Saban's record was in his first year when he was here at Alabama? I'll let you guys chew on that, okay? Todd is saying, UGA Bama, who cares, right? I totally see that. Brian Russell, what's up, man? Appreciate you inside the comment box. Brian is saying Georgia, Texas, Bama, being honest. Yeah. And Ole Miss. Throw Ole Miss in there, too, probably at number 4. Okay, so you tell me what Saban was his first year here. All right, but Shula, right, was 4-9. Franchione was 7-5, 7-6. John got it right off the jump. DeBoer was 4-7. Gene Stallings, who has a statue as well, 7-5. Okay. Bill Curry was 7-5. And Ray Perkins back in 1983 had a record of 8-4, which is the best record, right? I think that's kind of like modern era, I guess, if you want to call it. That's what McElroy said. So, I mean, how many games do you think that Kalen DeBoer is going to win this year? I don't think in all of my shows and every single time that I've talked to you guys, I don't think anybody has ever said, this is a 8-win team. This is a 7-win team. Like, I think you have enough talent. And look, a lot of this is because you're following the greatest football coach of all time. So, of course, this is probably an easy, spot for Coach Kalen DeBoer to be in terms of racking up wins. Now, can you follow the legacy overall? That's another story, because winning here is the standard. Winning 11 games, 12 games, that is the standard. And that is what people are accustomed to. Battling in the playoffs and for championships, that's what people are accustomed to. So, no disrespect to any of these other coaches, Shula, Franchione, DeBoer, Stallings, Bill Curry, but there's a big difference between them and Coach Saban. So following Coach Saban, is going to be tough for anybody. But I think you look at the schedule, it's a gauntlet for sure. But I don't think anybody on here is going to say that Alabama is not going to win, 10 games, right? Like 13-3 losing the Natty. That's what Todd has. That's crazy. And you think about it, Alabama, if they were to make a run, it'd be 16 games that they had to play the season. And I was talking about it yesterday with a buddy of mine. I don't think there's going to be one team in college football to go undefeated. I really don't. DeBoer is he's a Jaguar that's 7 to Corvette, 100%. I think you step in, fully loaded arsenal, and look, and you added the components to make your Corvette turn into potentially a Bugatti or whatever you want, because you added the key elements that you had to keep this program afloat, right? Like, it never was going sink, but you had to get someone from special teams. You had to load up into the secondary. He did just that. Brian Russell has Alabama at 10-2. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for your contributions, whether they're super chats, whether you're becoming a fan funder. Fan funder, support the YouTube channel. This is what I do professionally, $2.99. You'll see different type of icons roll up on the screen. And hit the thumbs up. Honestly, if you just roll Tide and you're just here and you're getting your morning segment in, I appreciate you guys. Just hit the thumbs up, and I appreciate you guys being here. Had a call-in show last night. You guys can rewatch that on the rewatch, and I appreciate you guys being patient with me as I fixed kind of the audio that I had to go through. So it sounds like we're off to a good spot right now in terms of the audio. All right, let's talk some recruiting. That's what you're here for, and June is a time when we focus on recruiting. Alabama currently, whatever ranking you want to use, Rivals 24/7. Todd, why don't you go ahead and give us where teams are within Rivals 24/7 and On3? I think Rivals and 24/7 have Alabama within the top 5. Today you are on commitment watch for Jackson Lloyd. 6'6", 290 pounds. He's a super athletic offensive tackle out of California. Okay. I think everybody knows that he's certainly trending heavy for Alabama. This would be the third offensive lineman to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Larry Large, I see you inside the comment box. You should be very excited about this for several different reasons. I think, number one, when you look to the offensive linemen that Alabama currently has, which is 2, Michael Carroll, Mal Waldrop, they not only have the size, which you want, but they're athletic guys. Michael Carroll, That guy is an absolute beast. And I think overall he'll be, unless Alabama gets Ty Haywood, who I'm going to talk about next. Michael Carroll's unbelievable offensive lineman. This Jackson Lloyd, if you've checked out his highlights or if you read through the comment box, this guy is an athletic freak. And I'm telling you, I'll say it again, I saw him catch a pass and he ran up the sidelines, thought about throwing the pass. Talk about basketball. The guy's got it covered as well. Max Tooney is saying, Jackson Lloyd comes from Clint Eastwood's hometown, Methinks, Carmel, California. I'm telling you, he is super athletic, and I want offensive linemen that are athletic to be able to play within the system. I think this system is going to be up-tempo. I think that the offense is going to be very dynamic in terms of a run pass. I don't think it's going to be super just one-sided in terms of just being an offense that just airs the ball out. I think they're going to be dynamic in terms of they can run the football as well. So down the road, it kind of gives you a snapshot of Jackson Lloyd and the type of offensive lineman that Alabama is going to recruit. Jarvis, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Good morning to you. I appreciate you being here. And that would be a huge addition. This would be a really big addition today if Alabama gets it. And I would imagine that Alabama continues to climb those recruiting rankings that you watch if they do get Jackson Lloyd. So I don't make predictions. That's not something that I'm into. But, if you looked at all your recruiting sites, he's trending like almost at 100% to Bama. So that'll be at 2 p.m. Central Time, Jackson Lloyd. And then you also have London Simmons, who committed on Sunday. And he was the last prospect. He's a 3-star, 4-star, depending on which site you look at, out of Mississippi. Prospects out of Mississippi, really big state in recruiting this year. So he was the last prospect, and I think the next prospect that's going to be committed is going to be Jackson Lloyd. Super, super athletic. Credit to Coach Jaylen DeBoer for continuing to retain ties out to California, and Coach Kapilovic also helped sealing that deal. Let's talk about another offensive lineman that we're all watching, and that is Ty Haywood. Look, Bama's in really good shape with a 5-star offensive lineman out of the Lone Star State. Coach Jaylen DeBoer, once again, has done a good job facilitating relationships with the Lone Star State. You look at Keelan Russell, who we'll talk about at the back end of the show, going out to the Elite 11, top quarterback camp for quarterback in the class of 2025, 2026. But they get that kind of the elite, the creme, to go out to California, and Keelan Russell, one of those quarterbacks. Ty Haywood, I think Oklahoma certainly has a lot to make up in terms of, landing this 5-star. I think Bama is actually in the driver's seat from what I understand. And, think about this. You get Jackson Lloyd, you get Michael Carroll, you get Mal Waldrop, you get Ty Haywood. I mean, there's your offensive line class. And then you also have Micah DeBose, out of Mobile down in L.A., and I think it's between LSU and Alabama, but he will be on campus this coming weekend. We're talking about Micah DeBose. So you have Ty Haywood, definitely a name to watch in terms of a 5-star. And Max, I don't think that Haywood visited Oklahoma. I don't think. See, Todd is backing me up there. I don't think that he went to Oklahoma, which made my ears perk up because I felt that Oklahoma, they have a good shot to be able to get somebody who regionally makes sense for them. But with him not going there, I think that tells you a lot. And I think that Alabama is certainly in a really good spot with Ty Haywood, which would be phenomenal. I mean, I don't know if this will happen, but can you imagine if you get, Keelan Russell, he signs, you get Ty Haywood, and I don't know, maybe you get Khalid Lockett, the wide receiver out of Texas as well. Like, man, exactly, Jarvis. The elite offensive line class, this is a great class, all right? We're just not saying this. Like, you can go around and you can compare your classes. This is a really good offensive line class that Alabama needs. And, look, Alabama's always going to get offensive linemen, guys coming in. But this particular class, you add on Jackson Lloyd and then you add on Ty Haywood, man, you are absolutely rolling 100%. Another offensive lineman that we're watching, as I said, which will be in this weekend, is Micah DeBose. This is between LSU and Alabama, as it looks like, but Alabama has a major opportunity as they are hosting Micah DeBose this weekend. Coach Jaylen DeBoer has done a really good job going into LA, lower Alabama, and recruiting. You look at his first initial player that he brought in, that was Ryan Williams, class of 2024, out of LA, right? You look to the fact that he flipped Antonio Coleman out of Saraland as well. You look at him retaining the roster with a player like Deontay Lawson, right, who's from LA as well. So he's done a good job in terms of working Lower Alabama, which, by the way, has some incredible talent. I always talk about the talent in the state of Alabama. Well, LA right now, like the talent around that area. Who's watching from LA, right, Lower Alabama? The high school football down there is on fire, 100%. Todd, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Todd helping me out. You might become a nice moderator for me in the future, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Good stuff. Larry Large, I see you. Jarvis, good morning to you. Max, of course, coming in. John Smith, thank you so much. Byron Russell, I see you inside the comment box. Greg W. Sadly, I quit watching after 44 years. College football has changed too much. Selfish brats now. Not all, but most. You know, this is an interesting point. I think when you look to the world of college football and what it has become and what it is, I think, you know, they need to tighten up on some of the rules and parameters around kind of before these prospects get to college and when they are in college. I would like to see, because you have to pay the players. We know this. But make it incentivized, right, to be able to get some additional NIL the better you perform, because that's how the world works, right? So, Rodney, you're from LA, right? I'm telling you, right? Like the high school football there is amazing. But incentivize it for like high school football for college players when they get here. You catch 1,000 yards as a freshman, you know, man, that's an additional $20,000, whatever it is, right? Before you give somebody like a big check, you make sure to incentivize it so they know they have to hit different thresholds. That's one thing that I'd like to see. But listen, Greg, I think this year, in terms of the interest and what's going to happen in each of the, like, because everybody's season this year, this is going to be a completely different college football season that we've never seen this before. Everybody's schedule is going to be challenging. Everybody's schedule is going to be an absolute gauntlet. And whoever is able to even get to the SEC championship game, that is going to be a hell of a run, right? It's going to be that is going to be a challenge within itself. All right, let's talk about some wide receivers, okay? Travis Smith, I know you guys are really excited about him, out of Georgia. It looks like that's between Alabama and Georgia, and I think he was probably leaning more towards Georgia, which is understandable, but I don't think this is over just yet. So Travis Smith, I know he's been on your radar for a long time, and I think he's probably leaning to Georgia, but I think that Alabama probably still in this, if I had to say. But don't worry, because you got some ballers coming in. You got 5-star Caleb Cunningham, who will be here this weekend. And as you know, Savages want to play with Savages. 4-star Derek Meadows out of Bishop Gorman. Everybody who follows football out west knows that Las Vegas, Nevada, that's one of the top teams as well. So Derek Meadows, that's an interesting name to get on board. And then here this week, I haven't seen any photos or haven't heard any real intel yet, but Khalid Lockett and Caleb Edwards are here. Lockett is a 5-star out of Texas, and then Caleb Edwards is the 5-star out of the state of Mississippi. You are watching on a cell phone. I appreciate it. Before it was full screen. Yeah, so John, I'm working with different elements. I'm also streaming on Facebook. Facebook has a platform that you're probably used to, but I've had to do different elements to be able to continue to grow my YouTube channel. So I'm always doing different things. So you'll see videos that are horizontal. You'll see videos that are vertical. But I think that you just continue to give me feedback, and we'll continue to tweak it as we go forward. But in this particular format, if you watch on YouTube, it is vertical. So that's kind of where we're at. Good question, man. I appreciate it. Greg W., love your ideas. You always do a great job, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. And if you want to become a fan funder, Greg, it's just $2.99 to support the product right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And John, yeah, that's give me feedback, man. I appreciate it, because you're right. Sometimes, we did go full screen, but now we're vertical. So I'm always playing with different things, because as the business owner, I got to shed skin, do different things to get into, to continue to grow the channel. So thanks. Good question, actually. All right. We got this weekend as well. I think last weekend was big. And look, you came away with a punter, and Alex Osbroff, right? The number 3, number 1 punter, whatever it is. Getting a punter, that's big, right? James Burnup is important. Don't forget about the special teams, 100%. And you know what? This isn't a green screen. This is a poster. See? It's a poster. I've had this for 7 years, I think. And I put it in my office. I've lived in the same house now for 8 years. But yeah, it's held up really good. And it looks nice. And then you also have London Simmons, who jumped on board, okay? So this next weekend, like this coming weekend, is going to be huge, okay? Because you do have, like I said, Micah DeBoer coming in, Travis Smith, Derek Meadows, but Dijon Lee and Ty Jackson come in. Dijon Lee, man, this is a player I feel would really catapult this class, okay? You get on Dijon Lee, you get on Naheem Oford, you have Chuck McDonald. I don't know, maybe somehow you flip Ivan Taylor from Notre Dame. But all eyes have to be on Dijon Lee. Now, recently there was some comments about Dijon Lee giving an interview with Georgia. And he said that he wants a coach, not a friend. And he said some of the coaches that might not cuss or whatever, like he wants someone who's going to be hard on him. You can get that here at Bama, 100%, right? And Chris from New Jersey wants Naheem Oford so bad. With a green screen, you could broadcast from Hawaii, though, 100%. I know. Well, I thought about that because I was like, once my kids leave and stuff like that, like, am I going to be in Tuscaloosa? I guess, like, if this was here. And one thing that I realized is nobody cares where I'm at as long as I'm talking Alabama football, right? Because there's a lot of Alabama channels out there. The guys aren't even in Tuscaloosa, right? Like, there's some in, all over the country. And, people don't care. So, like, there's a guy who doesn't. I'm one of the few guys that lives in Tuscaloosa. Like, none of the Bama Online guys do. They don't live in Tuscaloosa. Tim Watts doesn't. Andrew Bone doesn't. Jimmy Stein does. Let's see. Clint Lamb doesn't. Joseph Hastings doesn't. Travis Ryer, I think he does. But, like, you guys don't care, right? Mick Gillespie, he doesn't live in Tuscaloosa. Former people that worked here, they don't live in Tuscaloosa. There's another channel, Chat Sports Alabama. They have a ton of views, and their whole staff, they're in Texas, right? But like I'm here, I'm in Tuscaloosa. I'll tell you, it's hot. It was 80 degrees this morning. Got the workout in. Chris from New Jersey, you don't care, right? You just want the content. All right. Ty Jackson, that's another one. Ty Jackson will be in this weekend. Dijon Lee will be in this weekend as well. You got to do the full court press, right? Full court press and make sure that you solidify these two prospects. I would love to get Ty Jackson and Dijon Lee on board. I don't know. I think Dijon Lee commits on the 28th. That'll be one of the biggest commitments in college football recruiting this summer, right? So all eyes on that. And then I want to ask you this. Dawson Merritt. That was a name that we felt kind of when we were talk, who could commit next? Was it going to be Dawson Merritt? I don't know if Nebraska is making you know what? Nebraska's been able to land some guys. So I don't, he's from Kansas. I don't think regionally it really matters. I just think that maybe Nebraska, they're doing a really good job recruiting him. So Dawson Merritt, I don't think this is over by any means. I think it's kind of Nebraska versus Alabama. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with Dawson Merritt. But I know, when I'd ask you kind of in the past, who do you feel is going to be next to commit? You would say it was going to be Dawson Merritt, and then it's kind of, run out a little bit. And like Chris is saying, run the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys. If you guys do roll Tide, definitely hit the thumbs up. I'm going to be on periodically today because you have some news coming at 2 p.m. So make sure you have the notifications turned on, and I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Anderson at Bama Football on YouTube, and just really supporting the product, whether it's a super chat, becoming a fan funder, whatever it is. I appreciate you guys from being here. Let me ask you this. When you look to these particular prospects, I want to ask you right now, name, and you're right, Todd. I don't know, but Nebraska will still pull some guys. And I know who you're going to say, Chris, but give me three prospects. Three prospects that you feel are, would really bolster this class, like add up to this class. 3 of them right now out of the names we're talking about. Jackson, outside of Jackson Lloyd, okay, you got Ty Haywood. I think that's one that could really get things cooking. I don't know where Khalid Lockett sits just yet, so I'm not going to say him. Dijon Lee and Naheem Oford, right? Because those are 3 5-stars. And look, Acklandier, we haven't talked about him since he left Alabama, but I definitely think that Alabama made some ground with the nation's #1 running back after he left this past weekend, right? Chris from New Jersey, Kyle, any word that Jaylen is taking the wide receivers to Florida? I think he might have already gone with the wide receivers to Florida. I know that he was just out of the UFC event in Las Vegas. He's all over, man. And my buddy, JD Piquel, who works for On3, I think does a really good job. Consistent, right? He had a video. He was talking about Jaylen Milroe being, he's predicting him to be a finalist for the Heisman. And we were like, we're joking. It was like, man, yeah, for sure. It's like water's wet, but that's true. I mean, and what's crazy to think is if you bet the odds right now for Jaylen to make, to win the Heisman Trophy, I think like a month ago, they were like at plus 1,400, like lower than Jackson Dart. So, man, I'm sure there's a lot of people that got in on that plus 1,400 for Jaylen Milroe to win the Heisman Trophy. Like the guy, I'm telling you, the guy's going to have a season. and then someone just tweeted out a clip, an audio soundbite, and it said that Jaylen Milroe, he was like, did you think you're going to beat Georgia? And he's like, yeah, I thought about as soon as I looked at them, I could see they were already defeated before the game. But Saban was coming through with it. I mean, that whole last year, man, that was something else. That's why I'm shocked that Coach Saban didn't win the Coach of the Year award. I still feel to this day, and I get it. Sometimes you don't look at the overall goal, but I felt that last year was Coach Saban's best year of coaching. All right, let's see. Top 3. Brian Russell is saying Naheem Oford, Dijon Lee, and Haywood. Yeah, that's three 5-stars. Boom, right? Chris from New Jersey, Kyle, it's New York. You can stay at Mikasa for sure. Yeah, cruise in from New Jersey, right? Or get over to Manhattan, Downtown Athletic Club. Go check it out for sure. We can hit some golf balls. No, we can't hit golf balls at that time of year. We'll be freezing. Got my see, Todd got the bet on, right? On Jaylen Milroe at the 1,400, right? So he's going to clean up, right? So you're buying the steak dinners at the end of the year. Exactly, Jarvis. He went out at the top of his game because there was so many people. And I was talking about this yesterday. I honestly think that Coach Kalen DeBoer, this guy better have the toughest skin, the skin of a lizard, because every single thing that Coach Kalen DeBoer does is going to be criticized. Can you imagine? Just imagine, look, there's going to be a lot of things that go wrong this coming season for Alabama football. In week 1, in week 2, in week 3, in week 4, okay? You are going to be trailing. You are going to have turnovers. You're going to have, mishaps, miscues, whatever. Nothing can be perfect. Coach Saban, people wanted him gone when you lost to Texas, when you were trailing. Think about this. Last year, let's count them up. You were losing at halftime to Texas. You were losing at halftime to Ole Miss. You were tied with South Florida. You were losing to Tennessee at halftime. I can't remember the score of the Rose Bowl at halftime. You see what I'm saying? And remember what people were saying about Coach Saban? Can you just imagine what they're going to be saying about Coach Kalen DeBoer? Right? Man, and I'm with you, Matthew. I hope you're not trailing in week 1 to Western Kentucky. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you are going to go through adversity in the season. So like I kind of want to get the word out now. Like, be patient with this, with the coach, with the players, and with the assistant coaches, man, because it's gonna be crazy. All right, show 44. Love the channel, but I can't say I'm a fan of this new format with the chat on top of the video and the lower car video on my phone. Better full screen with the graphics and the schedule and stuff. Good feedback, show 44. Yeah, I'll look at everything, and make calls and kind of switch things up as we go forward. So one thing isn't like final. Maybe I'll do my show tomorrow in a different format, and we kind of see how things roll. So, but I appreciate all the feedback. Well, and you had a lot to complain about yesterday because the audio sounded like shit. It was so bad, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I went back and watched it. And at first it was bad, and then it got worse, and then I sounded like a robot. So, no, I get it. I'm always, like, trying different things. I don't ever want to stay stagnant, so I'm always kind of, like, bobbing and weaving and trying to improve 100%. Yes, Jarvis, 100%. Yeah, I always want to be thriving, right, and, like, change it up and do different things. So I just wanted to get on today, talk some recruiting, talk a little bit about team. You know what's coming at 2 p.m., and we will, we'll keep you posted as news happens, as we always do right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And I've learned it's like, because I do have the call-in show, I do have like my opening segment. I'm on when news happens, so I'm kind of just like, bouncing around. You're right, show 44. So got the sound taken care of, and then, in terms of like formatting and stuff like that, I'll continue to work on that as well. So I read through all the comments, and your guys is important. Your guys' feedback is super important to me. Have a really good start in the morning. I will be back online today. Big commitment coming at 2 p.m. on live as it happens. Please follow, super chat, become a fan funder, and all of your support. It really matters right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Topics that we covered today: Jackson Lloyd committing at 2 p.m. Update on 5-star Ty Haywood. Bama in good shape with the 5-star. You got a 4-star. Offensive lineman coming into town this weekend, Micah DeBoer. Wide receivers we're watching, Travis Smith, Bama versus Georgia. 5-star Caleb Cunningham. 4-star Derek Meadows out of Bishop Gorman. From Las Vegas, Khalid Lockett and Caleb Edwards. Looking for updates on those guys who are expected to be here today, yesterday, and tomorrow. Dijon Lee and Ty Jackson coming this weekend. No real update on Dawson Merritt, kind of watching that as well. We also hit on the fact that SEC Mike, who I love, who has a really good podcast, has his SEC rankings like that. Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, Missouri, and then Bama. No. Tennessee and LSU. And then we talked about how many wins will Coach Kellen DeBoer have in his opening season. So far, the best coach with the best record in his opening year is Ray Perkins way back in 1983. The year I was born, that's 40 years ago, who was 8-4. Kalen DeBoer wins more than 8 games. I appreciate you guys joining me for this morning segment. I'll be back as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I love you guys. I appreciate all the feedback and the comments. And I'll catch up with you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Have a good start, fam, and I'll